Hey everybody, Lisa here with Lisa and Creating Balance.
Hi there, Russ here. How are you today?
Today we are going to talk about personal holistic attentiveness.
Yeah. Or if you want to put it in the short form, self care, but with the holistic twist to it.
Right. Self care has become quite a catchphrase and it seems to have become almost a phrase that is losing its actual meaning. So today, when we talk about personal holistic attentiveness, we're going to talk about looking after yourself wholly and completely.
Yeah. And that's going to cover physical, spiritual,
Emotional.
and emotional.
Yeah. So when we talk about self care, a lot of times, in my experience, what I've heard lately is people saying how self care, I'm going to go have a massage or I'm going to have a spa day. And that is absolutely self care, 100%. However, I would like to discuss with you today self care in a more complete and rounded manner. So this would be talking to your medical professionals, whether you see a doctor, a naturopath, a doctor of traditional Chinese medicine,
Osteopath.
osteopath, your massage therapist, your chiropractor, your podiatrist, your dentist, your eye doctor, your optometrist, whatever professional that is required for you to see. Also, remember part of this is your mental health professional.
Hmm. Yeah. And that's a big one these days, just because of the fact of COVID. We're not interacting with um, friends and family and coworkers like we used to be able to, and it does affect a lot of us more than we really realize. So yes, talking to a mental health expert professional is very, very important.
Right. The other thing, a great person to talk to, especially during these times, is a nutritionist. There have been changes in people's eating habits and their exercise habits. So when we're having these types of changes happen in our life, it's a good idea to make sure that you are getting enough of what you need for physical overall health and nutrition. So making sure you're eating enough vegetables and fruit, which is something that I think we've been told since the day we were born. Make sure you eat enough vegetables and fruit.
Yep.
Drinking enough water and kind of staying away from some of the things that aren't as ideal for us as they could be. Having a cup of coffee in the morning is great. Having a pot of coffee before 9 is not so great.
Unless you really need to wake up.
Have an apple.
Oh, okay.
Yes. An apple will get you going in the morning. That is what they're there for. So think about those types of things when we're talking about your holistic attentiveness. So, what you're eating, how much exercise you're getting. Are you getting outside? Are you getting outside in the, well, some places aren't getting as much sun as we do here. However, if you can get outside and enjoy the fresh air and enjoy nature, go for a walk, even if it's around your neighborhood, go for a walk. Get outside and enjoy that freshness.
Yeah, really. I mean, even 15 minutes outside every day or every couple of days, it's amazing what that can do for your outlook and your um, overall feeling within yourself.
hmm The other thing to make note of is what are you watching? What are you investing in on social media? Remember when we focus in on a lot of the negative that's going on out there, that affects us in many ways. It can affect us in our mental health state, which then will start affecting us in our physical state. So be conscious of how much of the negativity out there in the media that you are investing in. Also, think about the shows that you watch on TV. If you're watching a lot of shows with a lot of violence, maybe it's time to step away and go for a walk outside because honestly, that will be a lot better for your overall health and well being.
Yeah. When we're talking about this, remember what we're also saying here is this affects the energy all around you and within you. And this is part of um, why even going outside for 15 minutes every day or every couple of days does help, because the energy um, around going out, breathing in fresh air, and that type of thing is a lot more positive, and it helps your overall body and your attitude, as I said.
Mm-hmm. And focusing on your breath, meditating. And remember, meditation doesn't have to be, I have to get organized and get ready and I'm going to be meditating for the next hour. Meditating can be as easy as 3 good breaths. Nice, even, deep breaths. Just to bring yourself back to center. If you're feeling a little bit stressed or overwhelmed, focus on your breath. This will help you in so many ways. Breath moves energy. And when you are feeling overwhelmed, if you can just take that moment, take a step back, and breathe, that will help you refocus. And it can also bring things back into alignment.
Yeah. And it will help you gain a little bit more control over what that situation may be. And really, in the work that I do, because I still work in retail and that type of thing, there are times during the day when it gets really super busy. I have to take that 2 to 3 minute break and just take that time. And like Lisa said, I do probably 3 to 5 deep breaths. And it's amazing how that works, because it does bring you back to center. It helps you take away whatever energy was going around you, and it just sort of sloughs it off. And it really does help. And it's so quick and so easy.
And it's free.
And it's free. One of the best things.
The other thing we're going to talk about is exercise. And again, exercise does not have to be hard. Exercise can be walking up and down your staircase 3 or 4 times, maybe for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It can be going outside for a 15-minute walk. It can be doing more than that, absolutely. If you want to do more than that, if you have a treadmill or a stationary bike or something like that, by all means. But exercising, even for 15 minutes a day, is going to significantly shift the energy around you. And as well, it helps your state of mind.
Yeah. Yeah. And this whole thing is, it really honestly, the whole idea here is just to shift that energy in. And it is amazing because it is only 15 minutes out of your day. And honestly, who cannot afford that 15 minutes? Because guaranteed, you get lost in the world of Facebook, you know, for easily 5 to 7 minutes, 3 times a day. There's your 15 minutes. And it's not necessarily saying that you're going to, you know, stop using Facebook or whatever, but it's just that time period that you know that you can put towards it. It's 15 minutes. That's all it is.
Absolutely. The other thing of it is making sure that if you are struggling with some emotional or mental health challenges and situations, reach out. Reach out to people you know, reach out to professionals. If you have the benefits on your work plan, reach out to people. It's so important today that we understand that if you're struggling with your emotions, if you're struggling with understanding, it's okay to reach out. In the olden days, back in the day, if you saw a psychologist, a psychiatrist, a therapist, a counselor, people said you were nuts, or maybe you were an alcoholic or something. That's not true. Many people seek guidance from these types of people: coaches, therapists, counselors, psychologists, psychiatrists, mainly because of the situations they are in their life. Maybe they have a high stress job, or maybe they have a situation that they're trying to navigate through and they need somebody else that can give them some insight, that can do so impartially. And so it's important that you understand that if you go to see one of these professionals, you're not nuts.
Yeah, really, it is okay to reach out and say, I need to talk. Because in the long run, it helps. Even if it's just talking to your friends, somebody that you trust, but even if you go that one step further and reach out to a professional, it's amazing how talking to somebody like that, that's not personally at stake or personally involved in your life, it's amazing how much more you will talk about what is going on in your life and how you're feeling about it. It just is, it can be freeing in a lot of ways.
And it teaches you new perspectives, and it teaches you also how to look at things from many different angles. It's important. It's important primarily in today's world right now that you do reach out. We're all in this together. Red Green says, keep your stick on the ice. Yeah, true story. We
True
are.
story.
We are all in this together.
We are.
So please reach out to someone close to you, someone you trust, a professional. And that includes your physical health as well. If you're feeling not well, and I'm not talking about COVID, I'm talking about other issues that we have in our bodies as we go through life, reach out to your medical professionals. Like I said, whether it's a doctor, a naturopath, a dentist, an osteopath, there's so many of them, massage therapists, chiropractors. If you're not feeling right in your physical form, reach out to the people that can help you with that as well. It's important for our holistic attentiveness is that we look at ourselves completely,
Mhm.
and that we take the time to understand that we have value and we're important. And it's important that we look after ourselves in order for us to be of service to others.
Yeah, very important, especially when we're in the service to others, because it's like the uh, sort of like a roundabout saying is that uh, you how are you going to be able to love others if you don't love yourself?
Mhm.
Sort of the same idea. How are you going to be able to take care of others if you don't take care of yourself? And I think we've talked about this in some of our past talks, and that it is really important to take care of yourself, just so that you can take care of others when you're in the industry that we are in.
Mhm. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to ask for help. So many times in our society, you are seen as weak if you ask for help. That actually is a sign of strength, not a sign of weakness. So when you reach out, remember that you are showing your own strength. And there are strength as well in numbers. So remember, when you reach out to ask for guidance or assistance or help, then in turn, when that person reaches out to you, you have the focus and the ability to guide and assist as they require.
Yeah, very true. On the spiritual side of holistic attentiveness, in your day, at the end of your day, remember to clear the energy. Clear the energy from the day, clear the energy from seeing clients. And when we see clients, I know most of us, what we do is that we'll, after the client leaves, we'll do a quick clearing and that type of thing. But do it better, do it deeper at the end of your day. Clear the energy from your body, clear the energy from your aura, and because it will build up. And over time, after it builds up, then that's going to start affecting you physically. So you have to be very aware of this. Just, baths, uh, using Epsom salts, sprays, clearing sprays, grounding sprays,
Sage, sweetgrass,
sage, sweetgrass, Palo Santo, any of those things, the things that really do work for you, just please, take that 5 to 10 minutes at the end of your day to do that, because over a long period of time, it's so beneficial for you.
Mm-hmm. Also, with that statement is be intentional. And when we talk about intention, that's another word we throw around a lot. However, it is important that you are intentional and clear in your intention. When we have a vague or ambiguous intention, then the effect may not be what we were expecting or hoping for. So be clear in your intention. The other thing of it is have your invocations, your prayers, your mantras, write them down if you need to. That's okay too, because then it brings clarity and focus where you can follow that and read that.
Yeah. Yeah. The intention of doing the clearing is really super important, because if it's as Lisa said, if it's vague, um, the clearing is going to be superficial. Seriously, if you're more focused about it, if the intent behind it is more true, and you've got a really good, direct, and precise intent or a way of saying things, um, the clearing of the energy is so much better.
Yeah, absolutely it is. And the other thing of it is too is when we're talking about being attentive to ourselves is remembering what your value is. And what I mean by that is what do you allow into your energy, and what do you allow people to take from you? It's important to understand and know what your value is. And I'm not talking money here. I'm talking about personal value. How do you see yourself? How important do you see yourself to yourself? How important are your feelings and your thoughts? How do you treat yourself? How do you speak about yourself? How do you speak to yourself? So understand your value. It's one of those things that we sometimes tend to forget, is that each and every one of us as people has value. And it's up to us to determine what that value is. And once you have determined what your value is, no one can take that away from you. Only you can.
Yeah, very true. When you discover the value of you, your confidence level goes up. People realize that there's something different. Um, you know who you are.
Mm-hmm.
You begin to discover who you are. And that is really something special.
And then other people begin to value you as well.
Yes.
In a way that you have determined that your value is.
Yeah.
So and that's awesome when you can see that actually happen and transpire. It's a beautiful process to watch. So remember, value yourself. That is also a very important part of your own care. Um, the other thing I'm going to talk about too with care is we're going to talk a bit about the language and being mindful of how you talk to yourself, how you talk about yourself, and how you talk about yourself to others. This is part of your own care. If you demean yourself, minimize yourself and your skills, and talk down to yourself, then you are decreasing your value. And you're also not allowing yourself that place of honor for who you are. I ask you from today forward to be mindful of the language you use to yourself and about yourself, the thoughts you have, the words you say, and be mindful of how you speak to yourself, about yourself to others. It's important that you please try not to call yourself stupid or anything like that, because you're probably not. I'm thinking you're not that stupid, right?
Yeah.
So that's a word that maybe you can toss out the window. Use phrases more to the nature of I'm learning, I'm understanding. And that goes a long way to opening up room for growth and creating that beautiful space for growth.
Yeah, it does. And in the growth process, just remember this is it's one of those things that's not going to be an immediate,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's those small steps that are going to make the difference. It's just like exercising. You take that 15 minutes to go outside and walk and that type of thing, and because you're feeling better about it, all of a sudden, well, hey, you know what? Maybe I'll go for a half an hour every 2 or 3 days, and then just that cycle continues. It's the same thing with the thought process. When you start thinking about and being very mindful about what you're saying to who you are and what you are, the change that comes is definitely slow, but it does change. It really does, because you're being mindful about how you're talking about yourself, who you think you are, and that type of thing. And it's a small step process. But the small steps after after a time have become a huge step, because when you look back, all of a sudden you realize, hey, I'm not thinking that way anymore. And you realize, you know what? I don't want to think about that anymore, that way about myself anymore, because that's not who I am.
Mm-hmm.
It does make a difference. Just remember, it is going to be a process, and it is going to be small steps, but
Mm-hmm.
they're easy. It's not like they're hard. They are easy steps to take.
Yes, they are.
Okay, fine.
They are small steps. Some of them are more challenging than others. Some of them are like a walk in the park. And it's allowing yourself to grow that way. Don't beat yourself up over the fact that maybe you're not having the greatest day, because if life were perfect, then what would we learn and what fun would we have?
Yeah, really.
We need to have those moments where we can laugh at ourselves. Because we sometimes do silly things, and that's awesome. I love those silly things that I do. Yep.
So do I, because they keep me entertained.
So, to wrap up this session today of personal holistic attentiveness, I ask you to look after yourself fully and completely. Look at all the aspects of who you are and ensure that you are caring for yourself in a way that shows that you honor and value yourself.
Yeah. Um, just remember to honor yourself. Really, it really is super important to do that, and to remember to do it physically, mentally, and spiritually.
Absolutely. So, on that note, we're going to be out. And all I can say from here on out is stay curious.
Stay curious.